Tonight, the HIV epidemic which devastated a prison and had terrible effects outside. World in Action at 8 on Carlton. You're watching Carlton. Now the news.
From the studios of ITN, the news with Dermot Murnaghan.
Good evening. The political guessing game ended today and Britain finally got a date for the general election. All the months of speculation, all the weeks of predictions came to a head after a 5-minute drive from Downing Street to Buckingham Palace. Then came this. From behind the door of number 10, John Major strode across the street at exactly 12:35. And this was the message to waiting journalists.
Good morning. I'd like to formally confirm that I've seen Her Majesty the Queen this morning and sought her permission for a dissolution of Parliament and a general election on the 1st of May. I'm delighted to tell you that Her Majesty has consented to that.
So this is the timetable for the next few weeks. The last Prime Minister's question time will be on Thursday. Then Parliament in effect shuts down. On April the 7th, formal campaigning will begin. Nominations close on April the 16th, and then polling day on May the 1st. The newly elected Parliament returns on May the 7th. Our political editor, Michael Brunson, looks at today's events.
So May the 1st it is, confirmation of the year's worst-kept political secret, and Mr. Major cut it all very fine. After briefing the Cabinet, he drove away from number 10, having allowed himself just 3.5 minutes to get to the palace, only, as we saw from the ITN helicopter, to run straight into a traffic jam. Eventually, Mr. Major made it through the palace gates and into the courtyard, a minute behind schedule for his audience at 11:30. A little earlier, the Cabinet had also spilled out into Downing Street, the party chairman giving the thumbs up, and ministers apparently certain of victory.
Yes. Why are you going to win? Because we deserve to, because Britain's never been better than it is today, and we've worked together.
Back from the palace, and with Queen and Cabinet having approved the idea, the Prime Minister finally announced the date.
I'd like to formally confirm that I've seen Her Majesty the Queen this morning and sought her permission for a dissolution of Parliament and a general election on the 1st of May. I have, like I guess most of you, waited a long time for this general election. I'm delighted we've now got it. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to getting out of Whitehall and Westminster and campaigning in every part of the country and taking the message of what we've achieved and of our hopes and ambitions for this country out to people in every part of the United Kingdom.
Prime Minister, why have you decided on such a long campaign? Doesn't that give the opposition more chance to set out what they think has been your poor record?
Well, I hope they might also set out what their plans are. I think it'd be very agreeable if we knew a little beyond the sound bites that we're occasionally treated to.
Labour, certain that this would be the day, already had its leader out and about at a London school, wanting to underline the topmost priority a Blair government would give to education. Mr. Blair is said to be delighted at the prospect of a long campaign, certain that over 6 weeks, Labour can portray the Tories' new ideas on pensions, for example, as likely to increase voters' sense of uncertainty.
I think this campaign is going to be about the condition of Britain now and the future of Britain, that Britain can be better than this. And it'll be about how the Conservative Party have let people down, have broken their promises, and about how a new and revitalised Labour Party can get this country going.
Paddy Ashdown was in his constituency and had this reaction to the election being called.
I can't understand why the Prime Minister's delivered so long, and I can't understand why he doesn't announce today and have it as early as possible, which would be at the 3rd week in April rather than waiting to May the 1st. This has been a long time coming. The sooner this is over and done with and the Tories are pushed out of the way so we can get a decent government in this country, the better.
In Scotland, the SNP leader Alex Salmond, speaking after the Prime Minister had again flagged up devolution as a major campaign issue, said he was delighted that he had.
And for John Major to say the Constitution was going to dominate the campaign, well, he's playing on away and he's playing on our home ground. I mean, on the Constitution, we've got the best, the strongest policy, independence, equality for Scotland. No other party can compete with that.
So the longest campaign in recent British general election history is underway. And 6 weeks of it began with the Prime Minister heading north to Luton, where one of the seats is a 500-vote marginal. But as he did so, there came a crucial endorsement for him and his party.
Stay with us and with John Major until we cross the finishing line.
And in Luton, the Prime Minister climbed back onto that famous soapbox. It was here that it was first pressed into service back in 1992. And to a mixture of boos and cheers, he reminded everyone that the rowdy reception he'd got back then had ended in victory 3 weeks later. This time, with arguably an even tougher mountain to climb, the Prime Minister is convinced that taking his message directly to the people like this will help him win again. Michael Brunson, ITN, Westminster.
Well, with the date now set, John Major said he was looking forward to a live television head-to-head debate during the campaign with Tony Blair. Mr. Blair said today he couldn't wait. But the Liberal Democrat leader, Paddy Ashdown, said he wouldn't allow it unless he was involved. John Draper reports.
Modern elections are fought out on the TV screen as much as on the doorstep. That'll be even more the case this time, with the big television debates between the party leaders as the centrepiece of the campaign. But Tory attempts to squeeze out Mr. Ashdown because he's not likely to be Prime Minister has angered his party.
If I were to read the opinion polls today, John Major stands no chance of being Prime Minister. But I don't say for that reason he shouldn't appear in a debate. We want the three party leaders to make their judgment, and then the voters will decide.
Today, the Prime Minister was giving little ground on that.
I had some sympathy for Mr. Ashdown's position. I'm sure the broadcasters might find some way to involve him, but I think the principal debate will be between the leader of the Labour Party and myself.
In US debates, candidates directly challenge each other. The Tories say that would expose Mr. Blair's soundbites. Labour say Tory failures would be exposed. TV skills also count. In 1960, a young John Kennedy trounced a dour-looking Richard Nixon. Here, the parties still can't agree on the format, though.
It's a very odd idea of Mr. Major's that this exercise, which must be about involving the electorate, should take place with no ordinary people present.
The latest poll shows the Tories at 27%, well behind Labour's commanding 52%. The Liberal Democrats are on 13%. So will a long campaign help the Tories?
By playing it long, it could go wrong, but it's already been going wrong. By playing it long, on the other hand, he does stand a chance.
Mr. Blair, though, intends to see he doesn't get that chance. John Draper, ITN.
Well, live now to our political editor, Michael Brunson. Michael, what about this long campaign? What calculations has Mr. Major made?
Well, one of the things he said in Downing Street this morning was that it was, in a sense, a little inevitable because of the dates of Easter at the end of this month. But in honesty, I think what he's decided to do is to make that, if you like, into a virtue of the campaign, because there is no question that he has always wanted a long campaign. The reason is this: he knows that this has been a very difficult time for the government over 5 years for all kinds of reasons. Now, he thinks that he wants to get across the message. Things have now changed. That was his message today. Sometimes, of course, he talks about stability and emphasizes that. Today, he was emphasizing that things have changed, and he wants a long time to explain to people how they've changed in his view for the better, so that he can set out in considerable detail how that happens. But the Labour Party and the Liberal Democrats are delighted. They think that that gives them still more time on their part to put the counter-argument.
And Michael, much talk already about this television debate. Is it likely to be the decisive moment of the campaign?
I don't think it is. It is one of the things that Mr. Major wants to put into his strategy of having a long campaign. But the evidence from America is that debates in themselves are not decisive.
Thank you, Michael.